Warning. If you are easily outraged or offended, now is the time to hit the down vote button and leave the room or leave the video and go watch something that amuses you, makes you feel happy, and calms you down and soothes your little tiny ego. Now, for everybody else who can kind of control their emotions and make logical decisions, hopefully, let's get on with it. It's gonna be long, just like the last one.
So here we are. This is the big leagues. These are the more serious people. These are going to be much more efficient comments, hopefully. Let's do this. Okay. I asked a question about Leopards and Abrams because, all these videos that Blacktail was making and his fanboys were leaving me a little bit confused. And I just wanted to double check what I already knew. So, I asked some questions, and this fine person who I've censored a lot of information to prevent you guys from going after these people and sending them hateful comments and hateful messages. But if you dig hard enough, you'll be able to find them anyways. So I didn't try super hard to hide their identities. So I said, overall, would you say Leopard 2 and Abrams are tied more or less? And this guy agrees with that kind of logic. If you take your time, read his comment. I think he makes some very solid and very well-educated points. Now, here's another person, and they say that the Abrams armor covers the side better than the Leo's, and that the Leo's turret face has a weak spot below the main gun. That is very true. I am definitely aware of the weak spot below the main gun sight. Now, the armor being weaker on the side of the Leopard, that wasn't something I originally knew about. Now, if you don't agree with this or you don't believe this, you can go ahead and try to look around for this and try to prove me wrong. I would encourage that. It would be interesting to learn more. Next guy, the KP. He says, he's responding to another person, and he's talking about how the Germans were freaking out in the 80s that their ammo could not hurt the Russian or Soviet tanks enough. Now, I'm going to provide a link for that in the description, also known as the doobly-doo. Oh, and by the way, if you can't read fast enough, you can just pause this video and just read. You can do this at whatever, you can take half the video now, half the video later, do whatever the hell you want. I mean, it's a free world, or at least this part of it is. So, one of them says that the Germans have had really bad DU penetrators, and they haven't really been thinking about getting, new ones, or actually getting serious ones, because, hippies. And another person makes the point that, why would you be worried about depleted uranium if you're in World War III, which is what the depleted uranium sabots would be for, to deplete Russian tanks in World War III. The next person, they say there isn't too much of a difference between the two, and they both do a pretty good job. Again, feel free to read his comments and take this video at whatever pace you want. Now, another person pointed out that the Russians hadn't really done anything with the T-14. And this guy right here, An Ma, he has, I censored most of his name. We're just going to call him An. He makes a valid point that there has been a lot of Russian tanks that were considered, but they never really went very far. A good example of this is the Black Eagle, the T-95. There were some other tanks that I've heard about here and there that didn't really go anywhere. So it's kind of a letdown that the T-14 actually came out finally. It wasn't as amazing as all the other things that we've been hearing about, but it was better than some of the things we've been hearing about too. This person pointed out that the West has considered the idea of crew and hull tanks, and we just didn't think that they were a good idea. They didn't suit our needs. This is true. America and the West have had the technology to do these things for years, decades even. We just didn't think it was worth it, switching over to new tanks. It just wasn't worth the cost. It didn't provide enough protection for our needs, for how much it was going to cost us. And Jordan had the same opinion. They actually made a crew and hull tank, and they're just like, oh, this is too much money to switch over to. This part here, it's basically just a long series of comments I've matched together. And they're basically about how the German ammo needs to either be replaced with foreign ammo, or they need to really consider working harder on their German ammo. That's all this comment's about. It's a series of different comments between two different people. And I think it's very educational, and you should just go over it for a couple seconds just to, be entertained and be educated. I have another one, by the way. I took the comment for Blacktail's fan about the blow-up panels for the Abrams, and I just put it into a spoiler. And this is what they had to say about it. What they had to say was the panels have been made lighter, but that's about it, because there's no reason to change them. Anyone who thinks that they need to be changed does not understand how blow-up panels work. And if that stresses you out, you need to just go for a walk or drink some milk. I'm serious. So, how was it? Did it make you angry? Did it make you upset? Did you start screaming? You want to send an angry comment right now, even though you didn't even finish the video yet? Is that what you're going to do? Well, whatever the case is, I'm going to take whatever your comments are, whatever your responses are, if you want to do a video in return, and I'm going to keep feeding them to these other people until you either figure out that you're making your decisions based on of emotion, or we come to some kind of impasse where we agree that the Abrams-Leopard 2 and the Challenger 2 are all equally the best tank ever, all three of them put together. And there's not really any other options. So yeah, the only other thing I have to say about this is I wish you guys didn't get so stressed out about this. I hope everybody who is interested in watching all this butthurt happen enjoyed themselves. And I'd like to thank all the people involved. And I think that I'd like to wish everybody a good day, even the people who are probably writing me death threats right now. Have a nice day.